All right, here we go. Happy New Year's, everybody. I had a request for REEF and wanted to uh, wanted to show some things on that. We'll talk about fundamentals real quick, and then we'll get into the chart. Well, we'll look at some on-chain as well. So, what is REEF? Well, I mean, it kind of says it right here on the main page. It's a blockchain for DeFi, NFT, and gaming. And I think what they're getting at by saying that, which I don't know a whole lot about the project, just what I've read briefly, they have ways to stake. They have ways to provide liquidity for ERC20, for Ethereum coins. So not only are they providing um, the infrastructure to assist with the new age that we're going into with crypto and that sort of thing, with AI and robots and all that, but they're also giving people benefit for providing liquidity. And that's kind of how it all started, right? It was like Uniswap and DEXs, and um, if you provided liquidity, of course, it'd be a big help. And this was back in like 2020, 2021. But now we're seeing a shift where there's more than just ERC20 coins. There's BRC20. There's a lot of other things. Tron has its own TRX, I think, TRX20, something like that. So all of these companies that were already providing infrastructure, now they're moving to the next level and providing staking or whatever it might be. But Reef is an older coin. I think it probably came out in 2020 or something like that. So it's nothing new. I mean, a lot of you already know about it. I think the thing that I like most about it, the thing that jumps out to me is they do a real good job with their branding. Um, it's just a really unique look. You can easily go to this website and say, this has to be, or it at least looks like a legit project. Whereas if you go to some of these other projects for coins that are, down in the hundreds of thousands market cap, I mean, some of their websites don't even pull up, or they take 20 seconds to pull up. And then when you finally do, it looks like, somebody in 10th grade put it together. So, it's clear that they really put a lot of effort into this. And, they're a good project. They've been around for a while. But for whatever reason, it's a little bit slow to react. DeFi in general is a little bit slow to react to this bull market, and we'll get into the reasons for that here in a second. I did want to mention this new site that I came across called Alphanomics, and I'm not promoting it. I don't get paid for it or anything. I'm just showing it because I think it could be. It's kind of like Nansen. I've been talking about Nansen AI and looking at on-chain data and smart wallets and stuff like that. It's kind of what most people do now to find these coins before they take off. But there's some good data even on these other coins that have been around for a while. You can see what the transactions are looking like here, or what was the other thing I was going to show? Well, anyway, that's the main thing you can look here. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to look at. You can pull up the top holders. And the cool thing about it is, I mean, I really like the way this one, the graphic interface is set up. Because if you use something like Nansen, and I'll show that here in a second, it's a little bit harder to dig down and see what other holders have. So, like, you got this guy or this girl here that is the top holder of Reef, and here's the other coins, showing you right there on the page without you having to dig around for it. The other coins that this person's involved in. So if you click on their thing and you dig through it and you like the coins they hold, or if it looks like things that you hold and it just kind of vibes with you, then you actually, this is 109 million. This might be some kind of, it's probably better not to look at one that's high like that. It could be a VC or some kind of group or something. But if you go to one that's maybe further down in the top 10, I don't know, we'll go all the way down to here. So this person has 105,000. That's more reasonable. It's probably an individual's wallet. But they don't have, I got to find one that has multiple coins they're holding. Oh, that one just had Reef. Okay. Okay, here's another one. Yeah, so this is pretty cool. This person had, well, this is still high, 29 million. I guess this still could be an individual's wallet. Actually, it's saying 10 million here. I mean, I have seen some this high, but these are higher market cap coins. Usually I would look at something. I haven't used this app very much, so I'm still getting used to it, but I would go to top holders And then I would go to the next page probably and just see if I can find something that has much less total dollars. Oh, okay, that's why. Yeah, this was just showing how much reef they had, and the other was their full. Let's see if we can find a good one here. Trying to find one that has some, kind of off the map coins. Maybe this one. Okay, so this person owns 35,000 just in reef. They have about a $1.8 million portfolio here. Yeah, here we go. So they've got things like Scale, Terra Virtua Collect, which is one I was in earlier in the year, Phantom, Teller, Graph. Yeah, I mean, there's not, it's nothing really out of the ordinary here, but they got some different things here. Yeah, here's some more. So you can really dig down to see what else they have. They have ARPA. I've been looking at that one recently. They got Quant. We talked about that one on Twitter. Um, but they've done a pretty good job. I mean, if you find somebody here that you see their net worth history just climbing and climbing and, not really any big dips that stay down, then they're probably pretty good, at trading. But, this thing, just so you know, I don't think that they've opened up the pro like they don't charge anything for this. This is a free app right now. And I'll put the link in the description below if you want to check it out. But and by the way, I'm going to timestamp everything. So just jump around what you want to look at if this doesn't really interest you. But I'll put the link down there. And currently, what happens is there's a lot of people using this already. But I think when I first logged in, it was like 70,000 unique users were using it. Uh, but it's just on-chain data. They even have a thing here where ChatGPT gives a buy or sell recommendation, and they actually put up here it's not financial advice. So, be careful with something like this. Just because the AI model sees something as a buy, it doesn't mean it necessarily is. You really have to look at the chart and decide for yourself. And again, nothing I say is financial advice. I'm just kind of journaling what I'm doing. But there's a lot of different things here. I mean, some of this is behind a paywall, but the paywall, like the pro thing here, I think you can get access to it. Like if you're I'm trying to get access to the full version, but the person that kind of runs things hasn't reached back out to me yet. But here's the top volume tokens. I mean, here's another good dashboard. Here's the top whale trends, and a lot of this stuff is on Nansen as well. But I just like the way that this one here presents it. It's easier to get the information without jumping around a bunch. But both of them work well. They're both probably two of the top ones that I've found that give you smart wallet information, so you can kind of follow what the smart money people are doing. Anyway, we'll move on from that. Here is yeah. So this is Nansen. This is the other one, and I do subscribe to this. I'm not saying that anybody has to. They do have a free version of this as well, but you can't get to the other stuff that I'm looking at here without paying, and I think I pay about $100 a month, something like that. But it's worth it. This is how I found Movie, and then it did a 10x in about 2 weeks after that. Got lucky, but this is the way that I found it. So this is Reef. You can see all the transactions just like you can on the other one. It shows here who's bought and sold within the last 24 hours here. And you can also look at the balances over the last 24 hours just see if anybody's been selling or any of the big wallets have been selling. And it doesn't look like it to me. I mean, people that have already bought, I think, see the opportunity here that DeFi really hasn't moved much. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But DeFi has really been beaten down or held back so far in this bull market, and I think it'll get going here in a little bit. Let's see over the last 30 days what it looks like. I mean, there's been a little bit of selling. Yeah, I mean, it's as far as the biggest wallets here, it's not much. Most of them have been holding. In fact, you've got a lot of buys right here that have happened in the last 7 days. Yeah. So there's some people here that are see over the last 30 days here, all this green. There's been a lot of purchases over the last 30 days. People knew that it hit the bottom and they're preparing to, ride up the first big wave. Okay, this is a dashboard that I have set up, and here's what I wanted to talk about. Let's see over the last 7 days what we're looking at. These are the sector views. So the most popular things over the last 7 days are, well, a lot of people or a lot of smart money moved into stables over the last 7 days, but I think it's really slowed down. Like, see, you're only seeing about 10 million now over the last 24 hours. So I think some of them see that a lot of alts are at discounts and they're wanting to buy back in. And I am bullish currently. I mean, we'll have to see what happens, but everything looks fine to me right now. Let's see, data sourcing and Oracle. So this is the one, uh, a really a coin that kind of went off the map and got taken off some exchanges, I think, even called Zap. It got going recently. It's an Oracle. Um, there's other Oracles as well. I'd have to, let's see. No, that's not what meant to bring up. Coin market cap. All right, if we go to categories on here, and then I look for oracles. I just want to show you what an oracle is, just so you know. Part of the reason why oracles are up so much is Teller. It's been going crazy ever since like the middle of 2022, or was it? Yeah, I think 2022 actually. You got things like Band and oh well, Tau. That's another one. That's a big one that we follow. So there's a lot of them here that have been pretty bullish, and now you're going to see some of that money flow into the lower ones here as well. So if you can find one here that you like here's Zap way down here. I wouldn't recommend getting into Zap because it's on BitTrue. It's just there's no liquidity at all. It's it may go up, but I just don't like it. You can see right there it's been going up a lot. But if you go back and you look at DeFi, let's see, DeFi 2.0, I guess that would work. I don't know if Reef is on this one or not. think I think Reef may fall under lending or something. Unless it's way down the list. Oh, I know what I'll do. All right, so it's 50 million market cap currently. Total supply 22 billion, I think that is. Yeah. 22 billion. And then the category or the tag that's put on it. Let's see. Oh, I thought DeFi was on here for it. That's weird. Sure thought it was before. Category wallet, Binance launch, Metaverse. Well, we'll look at Metaverse, I guess. I don't really agree with that. I think it's more DeFi, but anyway, it's number whatever this is. Well, it's number 524 overall, and I think it'll work up from there. It's come down a lot, but I'll show on the chart here in a minute where it looks like it's gonna bounce back up here in a little bit. So let's see. Yeah, it's overall bearish over the last hour, 24-hour, 7-day view. And then the number, like the top five here are things like ICP, which we know went up a lot not too long ago. It's over the last 37 or over the last 7 days, 37%. But it was much more than that. And like if you saw the 30-day, I don't know why it doesn't have a 30-day uh, column here, but if you saw that, it went up a bunch. But yeah, you can see there's not many of these. There's a couple that have gone up a little bit. Oh yeah, Trios went a bunch. So this is another one that we kind of followed briefly. It's a really good coin as well, but I think it's near its top, by the way. So be careful with that one. I wouldn't be entering it personally. Anyway, we'll jump over here and look at a couple other things. Where's that? I just wanted to show real quick. Yeah, there's ARB right there. Remember, maybe yesterday I posted that I entered ARB. So it's doing pretty well and it's still in the top, like the top 20 of the last 7-day smart money acquisitions or whatever you want to call it, where they acquired it and sent it to their wallet. Okay, so here's another feature of Nansen where you can look at different sectors. So if I bring up DeFi asset management, Reef will come up on it. Thing. Yeah, there it is right there. And you can actually see, okay, it's actually up 22% over the last 30 days. So, not too bad, but it's not one of the best at all. So I think it's got a lot of room to move up, and it's just kind of moving up a little bit, consolidating, moving up, consolidating, and then eventually it's gonna have its big move up. So anyway, that's just a quick view there. Oh, there is one other thing I wanted to show in here. We're just gonna look at the fresh wallet inflow here and see if it'll bring it up. It's not going to. Okay, that's weird. Maybe it's DeFi lending. Or I'll just bring up metaverse like it was showing before. Oh, I know what it is. It's probably the age. All right, let's try that. This is an older coin. It's more than a year old. That's why it wasn't coming up, I think. Takes a while to pull all this stuff up. Yeah, I don't know. It may not actually show it. Maybe there's too many now that or wait, no, there it is right there. Okay. So what are we looking at? Fresh wallet inflow is 5 million. So here's fresh wallet inflow. This is something you want to see. You want to see good inflow where new buyers are stepping in. I don't see any smart money inflow yet, so smart money really hasn't jumped in on it. A lot of the smart money wants to jump in on coins that are newer a lot of times, but if they see something like this going up, they'll jump into it. So exchange inflow and exchange outflow is pretty even. I mean, just because there's an exchange inflow doesn't mean somebody's selling, but if there's an outflow, then people are definitely taking it off the market and sending it to their wallet. So there's definitely a positive. People are buying this more than they're selling it, I guess is the best way to put it. All right, so chart. Let's talk about the chart. And what I'm using here is Bitcoin because it's an easy to read chart. And all these altcoins are basically following Bitcoin anyway. So if we look at this right here, I've already got this line drawn and it's you'll see that it's very similar. And as we go up here, I'll show what it looks like on this. I do have some support resistance levels that I drew real quick. Clearly, we've broken above the downtrend line, and there is much more history here. I'm just showing this one little area first. So yeah, we've broken out just like Bitcoin did. And if we were to compare these lines here, it would look something like this. All right, so there's that one. You can see we came up, from the bottom, we came up and now we retested this breakout, which is kind of in here, or, usually this little W is higher, but clearly we came down and retested it. And then we had resistance right in here somewhere. So it came down, that's where that retest was, and then it broke out, and that's what this breakout is. And again, I wouldn't recommend anybody to pattern trade because these patterns can throw you off and get you in trouble because you think you're real bullish and then all of a sudden it turns around on you. I use them, but you also have to watch your support levels. If you get a 4-hour close underneath a support line and then it starts looking much different than your pattern, then you have to reevaluate and figure out what's going on. Sometimes I'll just exit the trade completely until I can figure it out again. So breakout, that's that breakout, comes back and retests. So this is our resistance currently is kind of right in here. Comes back, retests, and then another breakout. So we go right here. There's your next breakout, and it's just barely above it. I mean, it actually came back under this line. And this is really more like this, I think, maybe that. Let me just see if I can get these about right. Yeah, so it's kind of right in the middle of this structure here. Maybe something like that. So if we go way down on Bitcoin, let's just see what happened with Bitcoin. And I'm just looking at this area right here where it rolled over pretty hard. I think it's kind of like that right there. It tried to pop above and then it rolled over, but maybe it's further down here. I can't tell. But the point is, it looks like it's ready to go. I mean, these patterns repeat so much. I mean, look at this. You could even say it's this, and then breakout, which is this. And it didn't really break out, but maybe that's what's getting ready to happen right now. I mean, you can say, okay, this is this, that's that, and you got this coming up. So this whole structure right here is basically this as well, all the way up to here. So if we look at it that way, then that might even make more sense. Let's see. You got that. You got that. Yeah, so I think we're kind of right in here somewhere, and you're going to get more and more volatile, and then eventually it'll take off. But these take a lot longer than we think they're going to. Like REEF especially, I keep thinking, oh man, this thing's going to take off at any time. But I think we're finally getting to that point. I would imagine in a week you'll probably see a lot more bullishness out of it. But yeah, I mean, I don't see anything that concerns me. It's just having to work through. Let me open up this chart more, and then we'll also look at market cipher here in a second. Yeah, maybe the support line's further down here. I can't tell. I mean, that would kind of make sense, but I'd really prefer having it here where this support was. So I don't know why this thing overcorrected. If you were to put a fib on it from here to here, yeah, it's just coming down to touch the 382. It's just an overcorrection. Sometimes when it does that, it has a pretty good move back up. I think this is a good area to buy some. You could even look at it like this, where this is more like a support resistance zone because this one acted as a real tight support resistance order block. So, that's why it's fine, and I'm not worried about it coming down that far. All right. Let's talk about targets going back up, which I think I've already got them set. We're close to it. Let me just adjust it here. Yeah, something like that. All I'm looking for is order blocks on the way back up because it tends to happen where, even down here, you can see it happening. This is an order block right here on a smaller time frame. You came up and rejected, retested one time. Here's an order block on a small time frame, comes up, rejects, and now you're running into another one right there. And that's probably why, well, it didn't quite make it there, did it? It's close though. Anyway, I'm not worried about it. I think it's just going to start getting more and more. What you're going to see is something like this, where it has this angle of attack, and then once it gets done with this really slow move, then you start seeing something more like that. And that's pretty typical. It'll just do this, and then eventually it'll start going way up, and you'll reject there again. I don't know how far it'll come down. I'd have to look at that. But yeah, these order blocks, you're going to reject from them. But that's a really good move. I think as far as targets go, here's what I'm looking at. The next two targets, I would say, if you were to buy here, this would be the first target at 007, and this would be the next one at like 01, right around 01. It doesn't have to be all the way to 012. And that's usually why I do this, why I put these boxes here, because it's more of a zone. I'd be careful trying to get out at the exact number. Just start scaling out as it gets closer. And we'll see, just to close it out here, we'll see what market cipher looks like. Just see what the money flow and stuff looks like. Let's see. Yeah, so this is always bullish whenever you get market cipher above this white line, your momentum areas up here. Because notice here, back during this price action in the bear market, it came up short of this, so that was really bearish, and it just rolled over. Currently, I mean, this is one good look. This is actually bullish. Let me see if I can make this a little bit more visible. This is like, it's kind of like a falling wedge in a way, even though it's gone sideways. This VWAP on market cipher, it tells me that the price action is getting squeezed here while, well, sorry, not the price action, but the VWAP is getting squeezed here while the price action is going up. And really, that's a hidden bullish divergence. So well, the reason why it's a hidden for me anyway, I guess, is because it's almost the opposite. Like, say if you had price action coming down and then you had something like VWAP or something like what's another one? I don't know, just money flow in general that created a bullish divergence. So, you got that idea. And at the same time with VWAP, VWAP's a little bit harder to read just because it's more choppy. But what I like about it, knowing that everything's bullish right now, is that you're getting a tightened structure. The more wound up it gets, the bigger explosion out of there it gets. And that's what we're seeing here. I mean, money flows in the green, so it's clearly bullish. And that's on a 3 day. I mean, if we go down to like a daily, we're going to see something much different. The money flow got a lot thicker. So again, I mean, I see right now, I don't know if you can see it or not there. Money flow, or sorry, VWAP is starting to turn up like that. Let's see if I can find another example here. Usually it's not this smooth, this much of a rounding pattern. Can't really find one here. But see how, here's a really good example. See how price action was coming down while VWAP was kind of tightening up here and just holding what it had, or maybe like this when it was tightening up down this way. And so when that correction was finally over, which I think is, yeah, we're getting to that point now. Look how similar that is. Once that same thing happened here, this is the longer term trend line. This is a shorter term, but it's the same idea. You got a breakout, comes back, retests it, takes off. Here's a breakout, retest, takes off, and you'll go up to here next, I think. It just gets tighter and tighter as it goes up, and then it has no choice but to move some way, whether it's up or down. And in this case, because we're bullish and we got nice green money flow, I believe it's going to keep going up. On a lower time frame, let's just see what we're seeing. Yeah, I think VWAP's coming down one more time, then it's going to curl back up, kind of like it did back here. I'm not worried about the money flow tapering down because, like I said, things are bullish. I think you'll probably get something like this, and it'll start making bullish divergences and then eventually break up that way on the momentum. But yeah, I like it. I mean, I don't think you're going to get a much better price. If I was buying it, I probably would have bought it at the bottom of this wick somewhere if I could have caught that. But it could come down one more time and fill in that wick. So, just be aware of that. Let's see, 1, 2. So it could do what it did back here. Sometimes there's 3 drives down. So it could, when it's forming a bottom. So you got 1 drive, 2 drives, 3 drives. So you could get one more push down to this line, but I mean, anywhere in here is fine. Anywhere like, 2100. Yeah, 2050 to 2100. If you get a buy there, you're probably looking pretty good, especially if you're talking about the long-term bull run. But this is a higher market cap. I mean, if you're looking for a coin that's going to move real fast, you would have to catch this one right before it did its big move. Otherwise, you have to just be willing to accept that, it could just go up and sideways a little bit slowly before it's ready to take off. And it will burst at some point. I'm not worried about it. But and that's what it looks like anyway. And sometimes I'll go to a much lower time frame and say, okay, I really want to find the best entry I can get. So I'm going to wait for money flow to for sure be green. Of course, this one it chops around a lot, but you can do something like this where it's clear that money flow is getting tighter and tighter each time. And eventually it's going to go like real thick green like this. Okay, well, I hope that made sense. If you got any other coins or questions or comments, whatever, leave them below and we'll go over it next time. All right, y'all, enjoy your New Year's.